All right, guys, we're back. We're here to do Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 5. So, just jumping into it, we got Carl and Juan. They're having breakfast. I don't know why Juan isn't walking around with some shoes on his feet because his feet are black. They're not like brown, lightly brown. They are black. And when I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. So they're talking, and money comes up. He works. He got the company that he's got going on, and he's telling Carla that all of his expenses, and that if she needs to go on vacation or do something fancy, that she's gonna have to do it by herself. And that's not why she got married, Juan. She didn't get married to do stuff by herself. So I don't even understand where that was coming from. And if money is going to be this big thing for him, then he wasn't ready to get married. Take your wife on vacations, take her out, to go to dinner. And she has an income that she's bringing in that is going to help facilitate that. It's supposed to be a we combination one. So I don't know. He looks good, but there's some stuff that can be improved upon. And he comes up with some good things to say every now and again. Like when he was with the guys that's going to be ahead, I thought, I liked his conversation, there as well. And I like Carla's, attitude about it. um, so, yeah. Looking at the next scene, it's Camille and Thomas. They're going out paddleboarding. I guess that's what that's called. And so they was trying to figure out who was going to lead and this, that, and the third. So she said that she's cool with taking some leadership like now, but ultimately and statistically, she'd rather have him do more of the leadership, kind of role. And I kind of feel that way too. There's some things that women are strong in that men need to, support. And then there's some things that men are strong in that women need to support. So I can get with that. So we're looking at MM and Ikechi. I think that's his name. I tried to go back and listen to see what it was because I think I was calling him Kiche, and I think his name is Ikechi. So he was. They were trying to have breakfast, and then it rained. So they were outside having breakfast, and I think she was not ready. She was still hungry when they were having a conversation. And so he was trying to explain to her. I think he said at 16 he got kicked out. His daddy kicked him out, and his dad sounds like my grandfather. That joker was a big ass hole. I could see him doing that. Um, and black men really need to get better, about that. They have this, I don't know, colonialism has jacked our minds up, child. But anyway, he's telling her about that, and he's connecting it to him being at that age, being out on his own, to the kids that are now needing, that help in order to guide them through adolescence, into college, into, adulthood. And he's saying that that's gratifying work for him. And he felt like he was getting choked up. I didn't see the choked up. And maybe that's why she didn't respond, because she didn't see the choked up. So he was expecting her to respond to him in some kind of way, and she didn't. But she did get choked up. When she was off camera, she started talking about, her dad and how they, one of the last conversations they had with each other is him telling her that he loved her. She didn't grow up, hearing that on a regular basis, but I guess it was understood that there was love, in the household. So then we got Michelle talking to her sister, and I thought her sister gave us some really good advice. And Michelle, the way she tells it and the way that it happens, I think that she either adds, embellishes, or she leaves some stuff out. So what she was saying to her sister was that there were some things that they found out about each other that was kind of impeding their progress. And she won't tell David anything. and she's talking at David. She's not talking with or to him. And she's not telling her sister that part either. And then she's saying, well, we can't still keep having this conversation about his living situation. We are not having a conversation, Michelle. You are the one that won't let it go and focus on other kinds of things that you can find out about this man. And so far, the things that you're finding out are not to your liking. So it's kind of hard for him to figure out what to tell you because he doesn't know what's going to make you mad. It's just like at this point, the way David breathes pisses her off. So when you get down to that point, it's going to be, it's coming close to a wrap. And she's just on my nerves at this point. So the next scene, and her sister told her, he comes from a good family. He seems like he's solid. So stop doing what we know you can do and relax and enjoy the trip and, relax and have some fun. So yeah, I encourage you guys to go back and look at that video. So then Juan decides that he is going to do the canoe. He's going to paddle the canoe, and he doesn't know what he's doing. So when Carla reaches out to go and try to adjust or to make sure that the camera is steady, they end up capsizing. And she doesn't get wet, but he does. And then they get back in the boat, and he doesn't know what he's doing. She told him not to quit his day job. Alan, did I miss a scene? I feel like I missed a scene. I think I missed the scene with the gym scene between I got to go back and put that up there. I'm sorry, guys. So Madison is coming in from the gym, and she was Madison is coming in from the gym. She ran into David at the gym, and they were talking, and I can't believe I didn't put that up. Oh, I apologize. But anyway, they were talking, and they seemed to have a good conversation, good rapport. And if I said that Michelle looked like the one with the wrestler's neck, I'm sorry. It's Madison, the one that her body is built kind of crazy to me. She's fit. Now I would give her that, but is it well put together? No. I've seen better. So Alan is still fishing around trying to figure out, how he can get closer to her. And he wants her to answer that question, and she can't. I actually went back and saw part of her interview with Dr. Pepper, I think it was. And she was saying that at the altar, if she doesn't have, attraction initially, for him, that's going to make it more difficult, for her. And I'm kind of thinking that David might have shot himself in the foot when he specifically asked for blonde hair and blue eyes. Because if he had just left it at blonde hair, they might have matched him up with Madison instead of Michelle. So he might have messed himself up on that. Everybody that I've looked at so far seems to think that David and Madison are going to be the two that decide to explore a relationship, with each other. So we'll see. I'm just trying to take each episode as it comes and just go with what I'm seeing and what I've seen so far. I'm not trying to get ahead of what we are being told through the outtakes and stuff. So yeah, that was interesting. He wants to know if she thinks that he's a pushover, and the answer is yes, Alan. So she sees something in you that is not up to her level of masculinity. And then he needs to understand what a metrosexual is and go get his stuff tightened up. He can do it. I saw a picture where I think he was talking to Dr. Pepper too. And they had, when he says that most of the time, he doesn't splurge, on things. But every now and again, he'll go and get him, something nice. He'll go and get him like a nice pair of shoes or something like that. And when he was with Dr. Pepper, I did not like his wardrobe. You guys need to go back and go look at that. She's not going to like his wardrobe when she sees it. When they go to do the house, when they go look at each other's stuff, his clothes are gonna freak her out. If she's freaked out about what he got on so far, then she's not gonna like. And you have to think metrosexual. That's what that's what does it. That's the key that fits into her lock. And I kind of understand that. I mean, when you're looking at the man that you're attracted to, there's just something about him. There is. It's just it's his aura, it's his presence, and I think Alan is kind of lacking that. And what presence he could have, he's wasting it because he's constantly trying to figure out where she is instead of really just being confident in himself and walking in him and walking and standing in who he is. So we'll see, how that goes. Where are we? So Michelle and David are talking. He's back from the gym. And then he decided, and when he was talking with Madison, he told her about the tattoo. She actually took it well. It didn't seem like she was judging him. And then when he came back, he was telling Michelle about it. And she looked at him like, dude, that was so stupid. Why would you do that? And then in the outtake, because he was saying to her that he explained to her why he got the tattoo from his last relationship, which he had been in for a while. And I guess he was kind of at that point of whether to... To me, it was kind of like giving a commitment without having to take that next step of buying an engagement ring. I'll get you tattooed, or I'll give you a key to my apartment, that kind of thing. So instead of him doing a really, really significant gesture, he felt like the significant gesture of a tattoo would be enough. And yeah, Michelle wasn't having it. And then he gets up, goes to the shower. And when he comes out, this is when I really, really started to have problems with Michelle. She's just sitting there on the sofa and she's looking at him with the most stank face I've ever seen. I mean, it's crazy. And he's coming out of the shower. He's cool. Like, whoa, I feel better now. And she's looking at him like, dude, what is wrong with you? Aren't you upset? Aren't you as freaked out, about it as I am? Why aren't you more negative? Why are you still trying to be so positive? And she's really mad that he's not as mad and as uncomfortable as she is. So that's number one. The other thing too that I started to, get is that she wants him to feel bad about himself. She wants him to feel guilty that he's living in his parents' basement and that he has this tattoo, and that I think she feels like he's not making good decisions. And when he was asking her, I think, about her level of attractiveness or compatibility, and she was saying that she wanted someone who was independent, successful, and who could teach her things. So I don't think she thinks that she has anything that she can learn from David. She can learn how to have a better attitude when there's conflict. So I think he is moving through that well. He's not like overly happy, but he's not, dragging himself around like she is, as well. He's actually getting out, going to the beach. He's enjoying the pool. He's going to the restaurants. He got the fellas together. So he's doing things to try and make his honeymoon and vacation. He's inviting her places. He wants it to be, a good experience. And she's not even trying. So it's making her mad, in my opinion, that he is not on that same level where she is. She's not able to sprinkle around her feces in order to crap all over him and make him feel some negative kind of way about himself, which I hate. And it was triggering too, because I often have people who like to judge me and they want me to feel a certain kind of way about myself based on their assessment of me when they don't have enough information. So I'm now at this point in my life where I freed myself, from that level of scrutiny. I mean, people need to quit. You don't know enough to bring this level of weight to someone. And the way that she's acting, I'm wondering, and I saw, I can't remember the title, but I think it's the Basement Blues or Basement something that the title says in when they get ready to go home. I don't think that that's going to be a good visit. And it probably won't be. I hope David's parents are not there when she gets there. Because if David's mother sniffs anything negative out of Michelle, it's not going to go well. I can just tell you that. So hopefully the parents will be gone when they do that little inspection. And when she goes down there to go check out his stuff. So yeah, he's trying to invite her out. And she's like, dude, I just want to be left alone. I mean, that's her attitude. And instead of like giving him a time frame, like when she was complaining to the women, she was like, yeah, well, I want him to leave me alone all day. And he's texting me and calling me and I'm not responding. And that's on me. It is on you, Michelle, because you could tell him, I'm cool. I'm going to need the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And then that's it. You didn't have to ignore the man. I mean, the man is your husband. He's not your boyfriend. Or he's not somebody, that you just met to date, to potentially date. You met this man and you actually decided that you were going to get married to him. When you made that decision, now all of the rest of your decisions are going to have to come off of that one. You can't make up new rules and then decide, okay, then go home. I don't understand why she's still there. The next one, David is getting together with the fellas. And so Akiche is telling him that he came in with no expectations. Then Alan is sharing some of his, stuff. Juan is giving some good, feedback. I can't think, but I encourage you guys to go down there and look at that video. I thought that he was really listening because immediately he took Juan's suggestion when he got back to talk to, what's her face? He was like, is there anything I can do? What do you need? How can I help facilitate? And she had already answered that earlier after brunch when she told him that he was saying all the right things, that it was on her. So that's the part that Juan and them didn't know, that she had given him that feedback on. And then he proceeds to, is this when no. So before I try to skip ahead where they're showing the women. And Michelle is, again, she's not telling the complete truth. The man said to her, if you change your mind and you want to come along, send me a text. So we got that. And then he left and I think went and sat by the pool. So she's saying that he keeps texting me and calling me and, he's just getting on my nerves. And so Camille asked her, she said, well, is there anything else that happened that has brought you to this level? And then that's when she was, complaining about that instead of talking about the tattoo. I actually thought that the tattoo would be a better thing for her to have brought up instead of the nagging about him calling her and texting her. Just crazy. So Madison is trying to explain to her that he's really trying. He really wants to, understand you and, that. So what is it? Alan is explaining to the guys that he's getting the understanding that Madison isn't attracted to him. And so if he stays there in that place, then she's never going to be attracted to him. He's going to have to pull himself out of that and just be Alan. And hopefully she will, catch on. Because when I saw Dr. Pepper and him looking at his wardrobe, Dr. Pepper liked his clothes. But she's an older woman. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And she's a psychologist too. So that might have something to do with it too. She liked his eclectic style. I don't like it. When I saw his clothes with Dr. Pepper, I'm thinking Madison is going to freak out when she sees this. That's what popped in my head. And if that is down there, you can go and look at it. During the first episode, Akechi, what? Oh, he calls M the homie. That wasn't a good move. But the dude seemed to understand what he was talking about from a dude's perspective. But when he was trying to explain it to her, she was looking at him like, "You call me the homie, dude? The homie? That's it? That's all I get out of you is the homie?" And he said, "Well, you could be the ops, or if the homie's not good enough." Which I thought was inappropriate. I mean, you've gone from one inappropriate term that she doesn't like to another one. Why would you do that? Ikeche. That doesn't make any sense. But I don't see the romance between them. People have been saying that, and I'm at this point where I actually have to agree. I don't see it. Um, she's looking at him expectantly and with excitement, but I don't see him giving that same level of energy, back to her. So David and Michelle are meeting with each other, and she's telling him that I think that you're smothering me with the calling and the texting. And so he was like, okay, if you want your space, and I'll give it to you. I was hoping that when he got up that he would have left and gave her her space, like he said. But what he did was he went back and got some water and then came back out and apologized to her. I'm tired of hearing that too out of you, David. I mean, what are you apologizing to her for? She's being the biggest bitch, and you need to put your foot down. I mean, when he was actually letting her know and checking her, okay, you want your space? I'll give it to you. Her whole, I could feel the energy changing in her from the screen. She was like, okay, who is this David? And then when he came back and doing all that apologizing, he just erased all that work that he just did, to get her attention. And she was just sitting there all stiff and ugh. I don't like people who try to make other people feel bad about themselves. Because I've had that my entire life, I know how to give it back to other people. If I can make you feel bad about yourself, I don't want to be that kind of person. And it's been ingrained in me that I have to hit back. That now I'm trying to just let things go. Even if I'm offended, I just want to be able to let it go and just move on with my life. Do the scan and be like, okay, there's something wrong with you. I'm going to let you live in your mess, and I'm going to go over here and take care of my business. Peace. So that's where I'm trying to get. But yeah, I haven't made it there yet. So y'all pray for me. Because I would have went off on Michelle. There's nowhere in the world I would have had her looking and talking to me like that. And then me not get back with her. I don't even play. I don't play. I can be one of the nicest people if you allow me to be me and not put your stuff and project your mess on me and let me, be, LaShawn. But once I see you judging me and looking at me crazy and talking to me crazy, then you asking for the other LaShawn to pop out. And nobody wants to see her. I don't want to see her, and nobody else wants to see her either. So y'all just need to leave. Leave her. Leave that sleeping part of me. Let her sleep. Somebody was talking. What did they say? I have to remember. I'm not even gonna say it until I remember. But I appreciate some of the reviewers. They're waking up to the fact that they were very hard on David, and they've given Michelle, too much credit in that. And then one of these channels I was looking at, their comment section actually got back with them to let them know that it's not unheard of that people stay with their parents. And especially looking at his situation, that he's got his own apartment. And the man gets along with his parents. I mean, y'all already know how I feel about this Western mess that we all trapped in. So, yeah, I felt sorry for David, there. And she looked like, because I got this thing down low, I think at one point, see, that's the David she wants to see. She wants to see him all mad and stuff, like her. Ugh, child, Lord have mercy. Woo, this woman. So Catchy and they're talking. And I could kind of see some of his points with the homie situation because he was saying that he appreciates that she knows how to pronounce his name properly. And they have that connection. And then their names actually mean similar. You know, they kind of go together with the meaning of their names. And she's Igbo. So she understood the importance of what a name, um, the connotation, of a name. So that was interesting. She seemed to kind of give him some space, on that, and wasn't as she didn't seem as offended by the time they finished the conversation. So you can go down there and check that video out. So Juan and Carla are getting massages, and Juan picks up this little contraption that might be the percussion. There's this practice that people have to have like a percussion where it's suction. It's like a suction thing that they use on their backs. Um, I guess to stimulate blood flow and that kind of thing. So he picked up these things, and Carla is a small-breasted woman, and then he put them on here to talk about these were nipple covers. I'm like, Juan, where is your tact? Is it possible for you to have any? Be sensitive to this woman. You don't know how she feels, where her body image, is. Carla seems very confident in her body image, by the way. So she didn't take it negatively at that point. I don't know. Because sometimes I'll let people get away with having little digs and little things, to say. But it'll still stick in my mind later. Well, what did that mean? Was that like just a regular comment, or was there actually something behind it? Like a microaggression. So these are the kind of things I'm plagued with when I'm trying to figure out people in their conversation. So I don't know if she, had that experience, with Juan, but it seemed like they enjoyed their massages. They promised to give each other one later. Afterwards, I thought that she was right with the massage and the rain together in that setting in Mexico, lush greenery. It was a good session. So I could see her being able to make that connection. So Juan said that he doesn't want to repeat past mistakes and jumping into intimacy, too soon. So they're holding off on that, and he's saying that he's trying to peek and take looks at her and stuff. So, and just kind of do that woosah, for himself. So Madison and Alan, they are doing the paddle boating, and he's still trying to pick her brain and figure out how she can tell him how to date her or how to get closer to her. And she's not going to tell you that, Alan. She expects you to be able to have this bag of tricks that you can go into to pull out. And then she can tell you whether or not you were successful. So you keep asking her about this is not going to get you as close as you want to be, with her. So then they start talking about his clothes and his glasses. And that's not metrosexual. He doesn't know what a metrosexual is. He hasn't seen one. Because once you see one, then you'll know what she's talking about. So right now, he has no clue. And that should have been the first thing that he looked up. You can punch this stuff in on your phone. Metrosexual. It'll show, and then he'll be like, oh, this is what she's looking for. Then he'll go and get himself tightened up. She likes really tight facial hair. You've gone to the barber. You've got that stuff trimmed down. You've got it, where it's presenting. Same thing with your haircut. And the way he's sitting in that paddle boat with his shirt open and his little pouchy, stomach hanging out. I was like, yeah, that's not it. That's not it, Alan. She wants something with a little more muscle, a little more lean. So I don't know how this is going to happen, with her and David. If her and David do end up getting together, it'd be really interesting. Because I think that she would be doing with him what Alan hoped that she would do with him. And that's kind of start looking past some of the other perfect right triangle things that she is looking for in a metrosexual, and kind of soften her expectations, up some. So I could see her maybe doing that with David, being a little more soft because he goes to the gym. She likes his attitude. He's got some self confidence, some manliness, about him. So just some things, maybe that he actually has that would give her that opportunity to kind of, you know, have some wiggle room. So I don't know, Alan. And the way that he was telling the story was kind of boring, for her. So that's something too. His conversation skills are not at the spot that's gonna really grab and keep her, attention. So that's something else that he has to work on. So then we've got this where people are using their cameras and checking in. And then David is checking in. He came from having dinner, and he's out, by the pool by himself. Still, trying to stay, positive. And I appreciate that. I invite you. It's toward the end of the video, so you guys can check that out. So Juan and Carla, they're at the pool, and they're talking about the pet peeves, which way to put the toilet paper. If I leave dishes in the sink, and you're gonna leave them there, you're gonna clean them up. And Carla is getting a toe, and he was like, "Well, would you tell me? Would you, Because she said, "Yeah, I wash them a couple of times, but then no, yeah, I would. I just leave them there to let you know that you need to take care of your stuff." He said, "Well, would you tell me beforehand?" She said, "I'm telling you now." Shut up, Carla. Shut up. That girl. She's one of the people where you can't just you can't be superficial with the way that you think about her, because just when you think that she's like flighty, she'll come in and give you something to let you know that she has more substance, which I actually appreciate. So they're all getting ready. Oh, and I skipped a part too that I had to add later. So who is it? Camille and Thomas, they're having dinner. And he's explaining to her about the adoption. And so his mother put on Facebook that they had adopted twins. And that's how he found out. So he went and asked his dad. And his dad said, "Yeah, I meant to tell y'all earlier, but I don't want y'all to think less of me because, you were adopted." And somebody said something that on the after party, I might go back and look at it later. If I need to go and find out some other information, then I might go back and look at it later. But they said that there was something about his dad being his paternal father, but then his got married to a woman. And it just didn't make any sense. Because why would your paternal father need to adopt you? That doesn't make any sense to me. And it just doesn't make any sense. So I might have to go back and actually look at that so I can listen to it, for myself. Just so I can see if what he's saying makes any, brings any clarity to the situation. But, so Camille is talking about her parents going through a divorce and how that role of being caretaker, to her family, being kind of, keeping her emotions in check is something that she, began to practice, at a young age, and that her parents were having problems. So off and on, I think they separated at one point, and then by the time she was, I guess, coming out of high school or something, they finally got a divorce. So that was an interesting conversation. I invite you. It's up at the top. I had to add it in later. Like I got to go back and put that David and Madison scene up. Oh, that's really annoying me because I hate having my stuff out of sequence. So Carla and them, they're getting on the boat to go on this excursion. I think it's a catamaran. And Carla's up in there doing her, what is it? I don't know why I didn't think of this word. It's kind of like an esoteric kind of whole body, oh, the moon and the stars and the sun, and, we're all water beings and beings of light, and we're exchanging energy and, all of that. She is a serious trip. And everybody, was laughing and at the conversation and all of that. But she's out there. Carla's out there. So yeah, go down and look at that video because that's about. Some people said that they thought that her conversation was inappropriate. I think, especially looking at it from a medical perspective, she's just being, in her mind, she's being practical because we all have them. The men have, magic sticks and we have receptacles. And this is the thing that actually happens when two people who are romantic with each other, get together. And she's emphasizing that don't take that for granted because this action that's happening is actually something that's metaphysical. It's something that's on a scale that's higher than what the physical is presenting to you. Don't just look at the physical act, go beyond with that the whole situation. So then where is it? They're on the boat and people, they have to go out to a certain point before they can start swimming and stuff, I guess. So they're all at the bar getting their drink on. Everybody's cool except Michelle. She still got her stank face. David is trying to talk to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't want any serious conversation today." And he was like, "Okay, cool. I'll just go back inside." Just horrible, just a horrible, individual. So my shorts are coming up. I'll talk about those after I finish the episode. Let me see. So Keche and MM are talking, and he says that he understands her by her facial expressions. I actually don't think that that's true, and I wouldn't recommend that people do that. If you see somebody's facial expression and you have a question about it, which you should, because you don't know, like if they're annoyed, then find out what it is that annoys them. You don't know what it is that annoys them about it, instead of because in this kind of relationship, it would be beneficial, especially at this point in their relationship, because they're so new, that if she's presenting a certain way on her face, that he asks her, is this what you're feeling? And then she can let him know, oh, I was thinking when you were saying this, that, and the third, I was thinking about this. And did you see that on my face? Oh, wow. Thank you for letting me know. Because, yeah, it didn't have anything to do with you. Sometimes everything doesn't have anything to do with you. And you just have to kind of feel that out, catching. And there was something else. I think he said that he was vegan and she eats meat. And so he was saying that she didn't have enough bacon. He said that, oh, I can see that you're hungry. And she said, yeah. He said, you didn't have enough bacon this morning. And see, I don't know if that was a dig. Because if he's a vegan, then they actually have a problem with people who eat meat. I remember a 2.5 Men episode where Charlie was dating this woman who was a vegan and he had to stop eating meat and he was kissing on her. And she was like, wait a minute, have you been eating meat? And he was lying to her because he had just ate a hamburger. And they don't like people who eat meat. So if he is a vegan, then this is going to be a problem. This is going to be an issue. And I don't know why they matched them together or why he didn't tell them that he doesn't like meat eaters. Because I remember Eris, when Jasmine was on the honeymoon and she was eating her bacon, he doesn't eat swine, but he called it swine. And then he would be messing with her about the bacon and stuff that she was eating on a low key. And that could have been a reason why he wasn't attracted to her too. Men don't want to be kissing all on men who don't like certain kinds of foods. Like she was saying she eats chitlins and she eats, what was it, kidneys and liver. He don't want to be kissing all over you after you ate that kind of stuff. So the experts need to be mindful of that kind of stuff when they're putting people, together. So who is it? Madison and Alan. They're talking travel. He still talk about the attraction child. Look, I'm getting tired of Alan with this whole attraction mess. You're going to have to figure it out, dude. You're going to have to, pull your stuff in and go out there and be that man. David is not sitting there stewing over Michelle's non-attraction, to him. He got the answer, and now he's going to try to figure out what his man vibe, is going to do to try and fix this situation for himself. So we'll see, Alan. You're going to have to come up out of that because she's not going to be able to help you, tell you how to date her. That's something that this is this kind of stuff that you should have been figuring out before you got married at first sight. So now everybody's swimming, jumping off the side of the boat, and they're doing the water slide. Then afterwards, the guys getting together, they're talking, and Alan tells David that he really appreciates his energy and how he's dealing, with the situation. David is saying he's just trying to, stay present and centered. He doesn't want to go into the negative space if he can help it. So he's doing everything he can to be as positive as he can. And I remember when Michelle was talking to him, she was accusing him of living in fantasy land. And he was like, what? What kind of fantasy land you think I'm living in? She was like, dude, I think that we're being fake. This is fake to me. And he said it may be fake to you. He said, but I'm being David. This is David's world. I thought that was hilarious. And so he said, no, this is me. And then that's the thing. She should have asked him instead of, because he was saying that I can see that you know how to have a good time because I hear you laughing and stuff with the other couples. And she was like, I'm not having a good time. You think this is having a good time? He wasn't talking about with him, Michelle. He was saying it specifically with you and the other couples. So when he hears you laughing, that means that you're having a good time. And then he was asking her about her relationship with her parents. She was like, well, why do you want to know that? Because he's trying to get to know you and break this ice that you have formed, between you guys. Oh my God, I'm telling you. She got on my nerves. So, she goes and she talks to the producers. And my thing is, the producers should have had her call. They should have had them call one of the experts. I don't know why they sat there and let this go on for as long as it has without suggesting that they get in touch with one of them to see if they can mediate and get them on a different page. That was kind of crazy, to me. So I'm at 42 minutes. I didn't think that I was going to be on here that long. I did go back and do some shorts because I heard on another video with Ikechi, that it was confusion about this whole cheating business because at the reception, one of his groomsmen was telling MM that he was in a relationship and his heart was broken because the woman that he was with cheated on him. And when he told her the story, they were in college. I think he said it was just coming out of college. And it was him. He was the one that brought the mistrust and the cheating into the relationship. So there's an incongruence there. And I'm wondering, is this something that we're gonna see, later on in the season? Then somebody was saying, I think it was that Jasmine chick. She was saying that she never heard Michelle say anything about wanting a light-skinned black man. She did say that, and I put it up there. I also put it up there about her friends asking her if she ready to stop being judgy when she's telling them that she's getting married at first sight. And no, she's not ready to stop being judgy. Because that's all that we're getting out of her. She's oozing judgment. And it's disgusting. And the way that she's looking at him with her lip, all curled up, in her mind. Because when she was looking at him, that's the only thing that was missing. Is the whole flat out just pure disgust on her face. That was the only thing that was missing was a sneer. And I'm looking at her like that. Stop judging this man when you don't know. That also kind of reminds me too. When Eris and Jasmine, when they left the altar, she was telling him about all the dogs and stuff that she had. He started tripping. He started tripping about it when he didn't even know what the situation was. And the situation wasn't as bad as this sounded when she was telling him about it at the reception. Same thing with this apartment. Girl, you don't even know what the apartment looks like. Go down there and see what it is first before you put all this energy into something that may not even be a situation. The experts went and looked at his apartment. They were fine with what they saw. You're supposed to be here to trust this process. So this is she's doing a lot. She's doing just too much right now. And I just didn't appreciate her energy, at all. So I guess that's my review for Married at First Sight. Oh, and the other thing, I saw a couple. They were saying, I think it's Couples Couch. The wife was saying that if Michelle and Madison, I mean not Michelle and Madison, if Madison and David get together, that she's cool, with that because I guess Michelle has been such a bitch. But my thing is, if it is them, if it's David, he should ask for a divorce. This is the way that it's gone, and these people should know how this works by now. This is the 18th season. We've seen people get to a point where they decide, a couple of weeks in, yeah, I can't do this no more. I want a divorce. That's what they should have done instead of cheating. Because I watch UK and Australia, and this kind of mess, that they do, which is, it's crazy because you're disrupting the process, when you go off on your own and you start doing alternate, things. I don't blame him for not wanting to be with Michelle, but cheating is not going to be the way to finish off this process in an appropriate way either. So we'll see, what happens. Sometimes Lifetime be gaslighting us about this situation. So I'm checking out David. The part of the after party I have seen, David and Alan seem very cordial, with each other. I don't think I've seen what's her face yet, Michelle, but David and Alan have sat in that 30-minute section with Rudy, and they seems like they still have a respect for each other. So we'll see. Don't let Lifetime fool you, child. Don't get all caught up in the stuff that they're seeing. Just take it episode by episode and just kind of go from there. So I hope that this was an enjoyable review, for you guys. I don't know how this thing ended up moving. I must have hit it when I was talking and not paying attention. So I apologize for that. Y'all take care, and I will talk to you on the next video.